Hey, welcome to the Rustic South. Welcome today. I hope you're having an awesome day. Hey, let's make some Easter bunnies. It's kind of like a bunny family, if you will. That was my original intent, but it was a little too much for this week. So I did the ears out of paper originally. I did the pants out of paper originally, and I did the head out of paper. But then I decided that I wanted to make them wooden. So I took the pattern, I taped them all together, and I took it outside and I traced it on chipboard. And here is our bunnies. Oh, they're so cute. They turned out so cute. You see one there, I did two stand up and one that's kind of squatty, but that one's going to have to be for another time. So today we're going to do 3 projects. 2 of the stand up ones, Mr. Gray. Yes, we're going to paint him gray. Now you can paint them both the same color if you like. I painted mine different colors because that's the way I like stuff. So I painted them white originally. I did it on chipboard. I painted them white. And then I sanded it. And then I took and put gray on this one, which I think is the color Steel by Waverly. So I painted gray, let it dry, and I do the eyes very nonchalantly, just go with the flow. Now, if you want bigger eyes, do big eyes, right? I know some people do big eyes. I'm a little sketchy on faces, so I kept them relatively small, okay? And of course, we're going to grunge these up in any manner that you like. You don't have to follow me. I'm just giving you suggestions for a video, of what I did. And if you like it, go for it. So I use my ink pads to, accentuate the ears, the inside middle ear. And then I take the same ink pad, which I think is Vintage Photo, and I go around the edge of the bunny. And we kind of rub it. We don't make it too grungy, And I went back and forth. This project was a little hard for me to stay simple, I guess, or simplified, because I really wanted to do a lot of fabric on it and make like pants or a shirt or something, whatever. But since I didn't do any arms for these, it kind of, I couldn't figure out how I wanted it to work and make it look right. So, but it would be cute if you used, construction paper on this, crafting paper on this. They have so many cute kinds of papers and books with papers in them that would be really cute to do for outfits, or cover them with paper if you feel like doing something different than paint and ink pads. So that's just some suggestions. But I went with just painting them. I have that heart sitting there on his face because that's the one I was thinking about using. I went ahead and cut that out of the chipboard when I was cutting out the rabbits. And I decided that I think it was too big for his face. I mean, it looks okay on screen, but it is pretty big whenever you see in the end with the one I really used. It looks more favorable to his face. So I am using this wax paste. Now this stuff my husband has. I still have to go to the big box store and get some different kind of wax. This one is a little too on the slick side, if you know what I mean, right? I want something that's I don't know, I want, I think it's, I'm not sure of the brand, to be honest with you. Maybe it's Bear, that's what it is. Bear brand some of their wax, but every time I seem to go, it's never there. So that's probably why I keep putting it off. But I use this one because it's what I have on hand, so that's what I do, right? I mean, it does grunging fine, but if you want to add anything after you put this on, it is a little difficult because it is pretty thick wax. Although it will rub off easily if you make a mistake, so just keep that in mind. Maybe you guys could share what wax you guys use on these kind of projects, right? I would be interested to know that, what kind of wax you use. Now I do take those ink pads and go around the edge just to lighten up that white. It's a little too white for me on the edge. You guys are going to see something in one of the pictures. You're going to see that I have them standing up in this wooden kind of thing that my husband made for me. It's got slits, if you will, cut into it so that you could stand things up in it. Here I'm positioning the nose, trying to figure out if we're going to use that. So the board that I have with the slits in it are just the right size as the chipboard, or the width, right? It's just the right width of the chipboard, so the chipboard will stand up in these slits. You'll see in one of the pictures. Now here I'm not to get off track, but here I am drawing a bow tie, because my original thought was to put a bow tie on him using cardboard. So I did freehand a bow tie. I do give you some measurements, and it would be very cute, but then I wanted to put fabric on it, right? Again, I'm back with wanting to put fabric somewhere on these rabbits. So I do end up, I leave this part in the video just so you guys can see it and you guys can decide for yourself what you want to do. But I do end up scrapping the cardboard bow tie and using fabric as a bow tie on him. Okay, so there's the bow tie that I cut out, and there's a measurement. It's like 5.5 wide, and the center is around, I think, 2 inches. Yes, and then the edges, the ends are like 3.5. Okay, so they're like 3.5 on the ends. So that's up to you. And I painted it blue because I really wanted to incorporate a blue into his bow tie. I thought the dark blue would go really good with his gray. But then, so here you see me again trying to incorporate fabric. So this is some fabric I just got at Hobby Lobby in the past week on their clearance bin, if you will. So you're probably not going to find this one at yours, but you may. You may have fabric that you like or you want to use for this. And it's orange. It seems appropriate to use for the rabbits. So my thought was to cut this, and I was going to put it on the bow on the cardboard. But in the end, you're going to see that what I did. So I end up cutting it out. So in the end, you know, make up your own mind what you want to do as far as a bow tie, if you want to put a bow tie on him, right? Now, I also show you a couple of different ways of possible bow tie on here, right? I show you the cardboard kind of, sort of, and then I take 3 different colors of fabric, which you'll see here in a minute, and make a bow tie. And you'll see a couple of different, see, I was wanting to scrunch it in the middle and do all these kinds of things. That's why I can't do a live video, because we would never get done. We would be on there forever, and I can't do that. And neither do you want to be on there forever. So I do my usual on the edges of the fabric, you know, pull and make it all tattered and stuff. And I grunge it. I do add grunging. Now this fabric has been tea stained. This orange fabric did tea stain, but it did not take as well as the other ones I did. I meant to do it again, but I didn't have time before the video, before I started this. So I just added some of my brown ink pad to it. And I'm sure you guys have some sort of fabric I'm sure that you probably love. Maybe some recently that you saw, since unfortunately Joann's is going to be leaving some of us. I mean, I know mine, the closest one to me is closing. Hopefully yours is not, if you're a Joann fan. Um, Again, you could ignore this part unless you just want to see what it turns out like. I didn't do a whole lot to it. I always have to grunge it up. Again, so I just left this in so you guys can get some idea if, if you want to do this in this fashion with the cardboard. Now, if I was going to continue, I would have done a few more things to the cardboard, of course. But I decided to scrap the cardboard. I'm sorry about my finger there. My alarm was going off. Okay, so this is where I believe I've scrapped the cardboard and decided to add a couple other pieces of fabric. So I add a lighter one, and then I add like this blue one, or turquoisey colored one that I had just recently got. And I found these on clearance as well at Hobby Lobby just the other day. They're like belt buckles. Okay, so I have this turquoisey green. Now on the screen it looks more green, I guess. Like a green fabric that's got little polka dots. And then I have that orange one that we were just grunging up. And these are just random sizes of fabric that I decided to cut, all the same length, but just random sizes as far as the rectangle goes, right? So I decided to use that belt buckle. And then I was like, well, I was originally going to use some rusty wire. So I took it out of the belt buckle, but that is an option for you. If you have something like that laying around, maybe an old belt buckle that you might have, if you don't have any rusty wire, just as something I like to use, quirky things, right? So, but this time I went with the rusty wire because that was my original thought. So I wrapped it around. I made it long enough so I could make several loops. Around the middle. So just make all the fabric face the same way, and we have ourselves a bow tie for Mr. Gray. It turned out really cute. I was very happy with the way the bow tie came out. So yeah, just fuss with your fabric, get it the way you like it. I did put a little bit of glue in spots so that the fabric would stay where I wanted it, as far as the bow tie goes. But the colors turned out really well. So here is the heart nose that I end up using, right? This is, again, a Dollar Tree heart, which, now they did have these up until a couple weeks ago. I saw them, so I don't know if you're going to find them still. But this is a Dollar Tree wooden heart I had gotten a couple of years ago, and we are going to grunge it up and use it for his nose. Now again, on his face, you're going to see that I do not put whiskers on his face. That was a struggle of debate with me. I could not figure out if I wanted to put whiskers on his face. I contemplated using rusty wire, but we did that just last week, and I felt like it was too repetitive. So I went back and forth and thought about drawing them on his face. I actually did draw a few lines on there, and I just didn't like them. Now again, I was trying to use a Sharpie marker, which again does not going to write very well on top of that wax that I rubbed on there earlier. So you guys do you. You guys, you know, add some twine, some rusty wire, some whatever you got in your stash, right, for whiskers. I ended up, here's where I glued the ends down a little bit just to keep them where I want them. But you do you on the whiskers. I ended up not putting any whiskers at all on him or her. That was my choice. So, okay. You're going to not see me put any whiskers on him. Also, if you wanted to, you could put something down on the bottom where his shoes would be to make like shoes. I decided not to do it because I was again putting mine in that piece of wood that my husband was so nice to cut for me with the grooves in it so that I could stand them up. But you could definitely lean these against the wall. I leaned them against the wall in some of my pictures. They work just fine as leaners. Or if you have an entrance table that they would fit on, you know, nice enough, or in your kitchen against a wall or something, or a hall. Here's where you see me attempting to draw whiskers. I did attempt it. I actually slightly marked on it, but I ended up changing my mind that that was not something I wanted to do. You see a slight mark there, but I end up getting a wet wipe fairly quickly and wiping that off because I don't know, it just wasn't vibing with me, so I didn't do it. I hope you enjoy that. All right, here's number 2. So this is Mrs. Terracotta, is what I'm calling her, because one of these colors that I'm putting on her is terracotta. So it's Mr. Gray and Mrs. Terracotta is what I'm calling them. So she's going to be mainly brown. It's the same kind of concept. Paint it on. Use a wet wipe to rub off most of the paint because we don't want it totally covered. Right? Or you could take it outside and sand it if you want to do that as well. Or if you want to leave it white, right? So there is the aftermath of wet wiping it, okay? And then we're going to do the same kind of thing, right? We're going to draw eyes on her with the same marker. We're going to give her a nose, but her nose is going to be different than his. Hers is a heart nose, but it is going to be out of felt, not out of wood. Again, because I don't do things typically the same. I usually do things differently, right? As far as like things that in multiples, right? I like different multiples instead of the same multiples. Have fun with this. Now, I understand everybody's not going to go outside and cut wood. I'm not telling you to do that at all, right? If you do, be super careful, of course, right? Use all safety equipment necessary for cutting wood. But you could pick up any of wooden rabbits you're going to find at Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby and work them the same kind of way, right? You could certainly do that. But they just weren't the shape that I was looking for. And this is the first time I've done anything like this. I just decided to use a scroll saw, big word, big piece of equipment, that my husband had, and cut these out. But I also like using power tools and playing with wood, and that's just me, right? If it's not you guys, then by all means find your rabbit in a different way. You could cut these out of cardboard, right? These would be super cute with cardboard. And then after Easter, if you don't want to store them, throw them away, right? I mean, you could certainly do that. So I'm adding some of the more of the terracotta color in the ears with a little bit of an orange mixed into it, so it kind of gives you that pinkish kind of vibe. So here is how I got my nose. There's the gingerbread from Christmas. I decided that I was just going to cut out a heart out of it and use it. Okay, so that's what I did for the nose. Again, I just folded it in half and freehandedly cut it. Okay. And here I'm just, again, marking on some eyes. Just willy-nilly drawing them on. Now, there are a couple of little embellishments here that I did for her that he didn't have. Okay, so we're going to use some of those little wooden flowers you see on screen. We're also going to use a couple of those wooden stars that you see laying there. And then there is another wooden star that I'm going to use on her ear. Okay. So we're going to do the same kind of thing, go around the edge with the ink pads, or ink pad, sorry, and smudge it and smear it and just have fun. You know, during this project, I don't know, you may see my coffee there on screen. Okay, now if you guys have never tried this, I have to give you a quick little recipe. So I love espresso drinks, right? Espresso. And so, during the holiday, I used eggnog in a lot of my coffee drinks. Okay, all of them. So now that it's over with and I can't find eggnog and I'm very sad, but I did buy chocolate almond milk the other day. Now I have to say that it's pretty tasty if you've never tried that. I'm not a chocolate milk lover. I am a milk lover, but I have gone from regular milk to almond milk recently, and even oat milk also. But I have discovered chocolate almond milk, dark chocolate almond milk to be exact. And ooh, is it good in my coffee. Now, it's not regular coffee. Again, it's espresso, right? I don't like regular coffee. I use espresso. Now, you see me not doing anything. I'm sorry, get off the tangent of my recipe. Down on their feet area or the bottom of their pants, you don't see me doing anything down there simply because I know I'm going to be putting them in that wooden thing that my husband gave me, so it's not really going to be seen. Okay, so here's another one of these hearts. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you've seen me have these hearts. I got them at Hobby Lobby. I believe they still have them. They're very primitive looking because of the shapes that they are. And these have fabric on them. I was not about to pull off that fabric. So what I simply did was paint white over the top of it. When it was wet, I sprinkled on cinnamon. Okay. A great deal of it. I mean, it wasn't completely drenched or coated, right? But enough, right? And then I took it outside and I sprayed it with the clear coat. Okay, and that gives you that kind of rusty wet look of the cinnamon. Okay, so that's what I did with the star, and that I am going to use on her shortly. So now for these flowers I mentioned, I took some leftover scrap of that orange fabric that you saw me have earlier. And all I did was just make knots, simple knots, and I pulled them through the center of those flowers to give them, the flowers I painted white or cream, okay? You can do them any color you want since spring is coming up, you know. make simple knots, and I pulled them through enough to just make it look like the center of the flower, right? And then I glued them down to the center of the flower and cut off the extra off the back. And we're going to give her a necklace. Make her a necklace. Okay, or you could put these like up near her, where her ears are, if you want it to look like, you know, something that's on her ear. Up to you. You know, do what you want. And I got these little wooden flowers. Forgive me, I can't remember if it was Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree that they came in a little set with butterflies and bees and stuff. So yeah, so here we're going to put them like right there and give it like a little necklace. Where he got a bow tie, she's getting a little flower necklace. Okay. And if you don't want to do the necklace, you could do rusty stars. You could just put fabric there. You could do a messy bow if you want, if that's kind of your thing. Do a messy bow with buttons, or a button, or a rusty star, or even a painted star. Right? So this is the way I went with mine. Okay? I hope this is giving you some idea of what you know, if you probably have some of these little flowers if you bought one of those little packages. And there they are, right next to each other. Aren't they just cute as can be? That's my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And in a little bit, in a few seconds, we're going to do carrots. Here we are, the carrots. So I took the carrots. These are just some very random shaped carrots. Again, these were scrap wood from when I cut out the rabbits that I decided to freehand some carrots. Okay. These were, again, the scrap wood, so they're just, and you know, again, I cut them on the scroll saw, and I meandered around and just made, you know, curves and stuff. And we're going to paint them orange. I do take that orange and that deep red. Both of those are from Dollar Tree, but they are from a couple of years ago at this point. I don't think they have either one of them. And we're going to paint the bottom of the carrot, and then we're going to wet wipe them off. Okay. So that it's not so bright, but if you like yours covered with solid paint, then I would not wipe it off. See, there's the two differences, right? One wiped off, one not. You decide. I liked mine with more of the wood showing through. So you do your carrots, and then we're going to paint the top green. I think it's with Waverly's Moss Green. Okay. There it is. We're going to just paint the top with that. Then we're going to wrap some fabric around it. And then we're going to take some wooden stars. Now the wooden stars you guys may not agree with. And I totally get it. They kind of give me a... on the carrots, it kind of gives me a Texas vibe. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not from Texas. But for some reason, I just wanted to incorporate some stars into this. So I put some just stained wooden stars on these carrots, and I put one on her. But you guys, of course, don't have to do that. You know, maybe you could incorporate a little bee or something onto this, right? If you want to make it more of spring cutesy kind of thing, you could put a bee on there, because that pack of flowers, if you bought those, has bees in it, or butterflies. You might even could put one of those butterflies maybe on the rabbit, right? Or maybe their ear or something like that. And I'm just thinking, I don't know. So here we are grunging up our carrots. The usual grunge, right? The ink pads, the wax, right? No cinnamon or anything like that. But, and there's those little hearts that I cut out. That again, those hearts came from scrap wood when I cut out those rabbits. So I cut some hearts I thought were kind of cute. And I keep trying to incorporate them into this project, which, I mean, they really didn't make their way onto either one of the rabbits. I was going to put them on the rabbits somewhere, but they were a little bigger than they probably needed to be for the rabbits. So, and I like the size, so I decided to not put them on any one of the rabbits. But I do end up putting them on the front of the bucket that I put the carrots in. Now the carrots, if I were you, I would do more than 2. I only had enough wood to make 2. I would do either 3 or 5. I usually try to do things in odd numbers. I think the bucket would be really cute if it had like 3 or 5 wooden carrots in it. And the nutmeg color is the color I'm using on the star, okay? And then I do take my ink pad and go around the edge of the star just to make the edges stand out more, right? I didn't want them to blend in with the carrots, okay? You could paint these stars black too. They don't have to be brown. You could paint them black. That way they would stand out more as well. So blow dry them. Go around the edge with your ink pad if you're going to do the stars. If not, skip this part. I put a little ribbon at the top of these just to kind of, you know, visually see the top from the bottom and kind of, you know, break up that line that's there. Maybe that's another reason why there's the ink pad. This is black. I use the jet black. I think it's jet black, something like that. Around the edge. I just go down around the edge very lightly. It's just on the edge. It's not on the top of the star, okay? It looks like it is, but it's not. Or even if you have dark, well, I guess dark brown, but I think the black lends better. But of course, if you paint your stars black, you don't have to do this. Or if you don't do them at all. Oh, I hope you're enjoying the video. Thank you so much for stopping by today and watching my video, watching my craziness with my carrots and my rabbits. I hope you get some ideas for something that you want to be creative with for this season. I had a lot of fun making these. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you are a returning subscriber or you are new here, either one, welcome to the Rustic South. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am having so much fun making videos, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my crafting. And all I ever want to do is just give you guys some idea, you know, to get in your craft room. Have a little fun today. I know you guys have stuff laying around. As a crafter, we have stuff laying around that we need to get to crafting with. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just get you in the mood to do something crafty today. So there we're gluing the stars on. In a minute, you'll see I take some fabric. Now, again, it's going to be this is the banding, which is funny. Some fabrics, you know, come with that printed banding on the side. This is that printed banding. When I coffee stain the fabric, I just leave it, right? And I cut those off, and I still use those. I don't care that there's print on there. You can't see it anyway because it's so small, you know, and we're cutting it and we're fraying it and we're grunging it and all that good stuff. You can't even see that there's print on there. Who cares, right? Nobody can read it. And if they can, who cares, right? They're too close then. No, I'm just kidding. So there they are. There's the carrots in the bucket. Now the hearts did get in the front of the bucket. So there's the hearts with the carrots. Hopefully you can see the pictures well. That one looks a little dark. You see, those are, I have them leaning here. These are leaning, right? I have them leaning, excuse me, against the wall. And that's a little bucket that I just had from It's a Dollar Tree plastic bucket that I spray painted dark brown. That's all that is. And there's the thing that my husband made for me with the grooves in it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.